I'm Teresa Smith, and this is Immersion Imprint, a dance that I made that is about my feeling that we are all a part of the environment. We're not separate from it. So in my work, in my Earthbody dance work, I attempt to find a way to go further into that environment and into that communication, and to bring the audience with us in a more intimate conversation. The way this particular work was developed at the Como stream in Woodstock is that I went into the stream with each dancer, and we worked intensively for several rehearsals where I would try to bring out their own particular relationship with the landscape and what it brought up for them. As far as a thematic material within this dance Immersion Imprint, what started to develop as we put the different solo pieces together was that we saw there was an aspect coming out very strongly for each dancer where she seemed to embody a different age. For instance, Wendy had this really open, childlike wonder in her relationship with nature and surprise. And then moving on, Ruth has a much more athletic sort of relationship. You see her hanging on the rocks and just sort of like experimenting with what her body can do, exploring the environment. And then it moves on to Amy, who is very sensually engaged with nature. And then we move on to Julie, who somehow seemed to pick up and embody this quality of the grandmother or the crone, pulling everything in, some embodying within herself the wisdom. And then we move upstream and we come to Jill, where it started to shift more into kind of archetypes. I see Jill's piece as she's the artist, the painter, who both with the imprints of her wet body on the rocks makes a mark in relationship, and also picks up rocks and you see her drawing on the rocks and leaving her mark. I feel like as much as we make an imprint on the landscape, it also imprints us. So in the warm-ups with the dancers, I would often emphasize how the shapes of the rocks enter into our consciousness and shape our bodies and our bones over time, but also in that moment. Moving further upstream, we then come to myself, Teresa, and my archetype developed into a kind of snake that sheds her skin as she goes into the water. She emerges in a new body. And then she discovers, watching her, the clown, this sort of nature imp spirit that has been peeking in and out all along, watching this relationship happen between the people and their environment, and then meets again this newly embodied myself, snake creature that has emerged. And the imp and the snake creature meet in a reflection in the water and then merge as we've been merging. And they merge down into the water and encounter one last dancer there. Anne kind of embodies the power and expression possible when we connect with our environment. All the dancers then gather together in a kind of social connection into the water, floating down through the stream, like fish floating downstream together. My goal for myself with this work, with my Earthbody work, has been to find a way to reconnect and to build a stronger understanding and connection with our environment, which I feel at this point in history is very important. And then to expand that out and to share that with other people. Hopefully we then become more aware of what's around us and have a more intimate connection that we then want to take care of it.